I think one of the most important skill sets a young person can learn to develop is their ability to communicate with other people. And the reason why is when you get out of high school, that's what life is. You've got to communicate with people who are way older than you. You've got to communicate with people that like different things than you like. You're gonna have to communicate with people that you don't like, and sometimes on a regular basis. It's crazy to me how many times I walk into high school and a kid will walk up to me and introduce themselves and be like, "Hi." They put their hand out and they're like, "I'm socially awkward. I don't like to talk to people." And they instantly lead with their inability to communicate. And it's okay to not be great at communicating. You don't have to be amazing at it, but you have to work on it. You've got to develop that skill. And the reason why is you can't text everybody all the time. You can't always just get away with sending an email or talking on social media. You literally have to develop your ability to communicate, because if you don't, you become a really difficult person to work with, and you become a difficult person for everyone else to honestly have a relationship with. If you want to develop your skill of communication, start with a conversation in your own head. How do you talk to yourself? I call this self-talk. The self-talk that you practice every day really does impact the way that you talk to other people. And for most of you guys, if you're honest with yourself, the conversation you have in your head, it's a pretty negative one. A lot of people assume that everyone's thinking the worst in them. A lot of people think about fear, they think about all the reasons why things can't work, or they think why they're not good enough. And those are the conversations we're playing around in our head all day long. When you think about things like that, it impacts the way that you interact with other people. If the tone in your head is negative, here's a challenge I would have for you. Find a positive trigger that can get you out of that bad loop and then start to put you into that good loop. That trigger for me is simple. I covered myself in tattoos that have positive quotes and sayings. These things constantly put me back into a good mentality if I find myself in a negative one. And the other big trigger that I have for myself is my friends. It's the people I surround myself with. We don't sit around and talk about why we can't do things. We don't sit around and talk about what we hate or what we don't like. We sit around and challenge each other to do better, to do more, to create things, to dream bigger. If you have a negative conversation in your head, find a positive trigger that can get you out of that negativity and send you back on a path of thinking positive. Another thing that a lot of you guys gotta work on is be better listeners. If you wanna be good at talking to people, the first place to start is learning how to listen, learning how to ask good questions, learning how to ask good follow-up questions. Most of the conversations that I have with young people, they really struggle to keep the conversation going because they don't know how to ask good questions. When you're talking to someone for the first time, have good questions that you want to ask, and then learn how to ask good follow-up questions. One of the things that I do when I'm meeting someone for the first time is I ask 3 why questions. They'll tell me their name, they'll tell me what they do, and I'll be like, well, why did you choose that? Then they tell me why they chose that, and then I'll ask another why question, and then I ask another why question. And after you ask someone why 3 times, you really start to get a conversation filled with more depth and impact and meaning. If you can only have a conversation about surface level stuff with people, you're never going to truly deepen your ability to communicate with others. And one thing you've got to be really careful for when you're communicating to other people is don't make it all about yourself. There are always these people who, when they talk, the only thing they can communicate about with is themselves. We call that conversational narcissism. And for some of you guys, that's a big struggle you have. The only thing you can speak to is your experiences, your needs, your wants, or your ideas. If you don't have the ability to talk to other people about their needs, their experiences, their wants, or their ideas, you're never going to be great at communicating. You guys have to understand, the people who make it in life, the young people who transition well into adulthood, the skill that they have, the skill that they're really good at, is the ability to communicate with other people. Try to learn how to have conversations with other people in real time. And if you're not sure where to start with the kids at your school that you don't know. Start with the kids you've never met. Have a conversation with an adult in your building that you've never talked to before, and try to figure out who they are, what they care about, and why they care about these things. Developing the skill of communication is going to set a lot of you guys up to be more successful down the road. Communication is one of those things that we don't think about until things go wrong. When a group project breaks down or when someone's mad or frustrated, that's when your ability to communicate really picks up. It's easy to communicate when things are going good. It's very difficult to communicate when things are going poorly. So my challenge for you guys would be, if you're frustrated, if you're upset, or if you're not sure how to have a conversation with someone, take a pause. Don't react right away. Ask a really good question, and then take the time to really listen to what someone else has to say. Most of what communication is about isn't talking. It's taking the time to listen, process what someone said to you, and then have a really good response back. The moments when you really need the ability to communicate well is when one of your friends or someone close to you is going through something difficult. Your friends are going to talk to you about really hard things. You're going to have conversations about suicide. You're going to have conversations about death or illness or loss. Your ability to communicate when things are going difficult is going to be the reason friends come to you and you are able to deepen your relationships with other people. Not every conversation I have during the day is positive. Not every conversation I have during the day is even easy. It's my ability to listen to people and then offer some perspective that gives me a platform to have meaningful conversations with other people. So when your friends are trying to talk to you about something difficult, the most important thing you can do is listen listen, ask really good questions. You don't always have to offer advice. Sometimes you just have to offer a little bit of perspective. And if the conversation that you're having in your head is a super negative one, here's what I want you to understand. You're gonna go there, but you don't have to live there. Listen, the way you talk in your head, the conversation that you have in your brain, it dictates so much of what you do, how you think, and who you are throughout the day. So my challenge for you guys is really simple. Practice healthy self-talk. Start your day off with gratitude and take the time to have a genuine, honest conversation with someone. And who knows, you might just learn something about yourself along the way.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.